On January 21st, 2016, beloved community members, including project staff and young adults with disabilities and their parents, were joined by caring citizens of the Las Cruces community for a great conversation to explore the challenges and opportunities before young people with and without disabilities transitioning to adulthood. The group of 30 represented diverse intentions: unwitting curiosity, personal involvement, professional commitment, and made for an enriching experience. Social presencing theater was developed by Arawana Hayashi, a performer of Japanese court dance and a teacher of Shambhala. Drawing upon the arts and contemplative traditions, social presencing theater uses simple body postures and movements to access intuition and move beyond limiting perceptions. In this case, participants used this physically and visually engaging method to explore issues related to the transition to adulthood. To help ground participants in awareness of their bodies, Doug Wooldridge led the group in a practice of guided meditation. This was followed by a series of centering exercises led by Rob Yee to leave behind the frets of the day and step into the present. Participants volunteered to embody an aspect of or role relating to the process of transitioning to adulthood. These included things like employment, friendship, and housing, among others. The first participant, invited to draw upon her intuition and position herself in the space offered, was in the role of a young adult with disabilities. She stated, "I am Maggie. I am a young adult with disabilities, and I am not as curious about everyone else as they are about me." One by one, other participants positioned themselves in relation to each other and made a statement about their feelings. A human sculpture emerged representing the dynamics of transition for young adults with and without disabilities in our community. The participants were then encouraged to let their bodies move into new positions in fresh relationship to one another, letting go of what is, and letting come a second human sculpture embodying the desire for human understanding and connection, equitable access and opportunity, collaborative and unobtrusive support systems, and a more engaged community. The social presencing theater experience produced collective insight that sparked thoughtful dialogue during the great conversation that followed.
It's going to be a great conversation where everyone can speak their piece, share their thoughts, ideas, observations, and always with respect and civility. There's no name calling, or I don't think we have to worry about that in this group, but sometimes we have had to. No hate speech, none of that kind of stuff. The great conversation is a safe setting to share our ideas and thoughts and feelings and perspectives. So I was very moved by this. I'm really grateful for everybody that contributed to this, both as participants and observers and facilitators. Thought it was a wonderful experience. Just like to open up the dialogue. Some folks have already made observations. Perhaps some who haven't yet might initiate with just kind of some thoughts. So, what did you think about this? What did it bring about for you?
Things started to come together in pieces. So I mean, it was set up so you had certain roles in certain categories. But when you have a life and you develop a presence in the community, there are a lot of little pieces that kind of fit together. And fitting them together is really kind of what life is about.
As a parent, you want to do it for them, and you can't. You have to give as much freedom. That's what I felt.
You have to prioritize, when you're trying to put all the pieces together. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to put your energy?
Employment was over here, and friendship was there, and it was really hard to leave the friendship. Because that's what I wanted as a person that had disabilities. I wanted the friendship. But then I also realized I wanted independence. I'm a young person. I wanted independence. I wanted other things, and I was going to have to make decisions.
When they first started reading off the cards, I was almost visualizing it myself, and then once someone would go, my whole orientation would kind of switch around, and it was really neat to see like what other people were thinking, and then I would think, oh, that's a good spot, or I didn't even think about that, and then like it just kind of reoriented itself a few times until the end. And then whenever we were told to switch, I knew I was on top, so I wanted to come to the bottom because I was employment, so I wanted to be more available, and I wanted to, let people take advantage of me. So I sat down and, kind of opened myself, and there was no way I think I would have done that originally.
Giving them the opportunity to be able to take better public transportation, to go places and be more independent and stuff, I think that's a place to start. Because right now, if they can't drive, they're automatically dependent, because they're dependent on someone to drive them from A to B.
But we need community awareness for employment. We need community awareness for transportation, especially when you're outside of city limits. There's so many needs, and just like in the beginning of the theater here, everybody was kind of spread out. So our hope, our goal is to bring everybody together.
The social presencing theater, like everybody's, as we come on and you start to try to find out where you go, and I don't know if this is the right spot for me, but I guess I'll stay here until other pressures or other responsibilities come along that I have to start to move and do. And sometimes you're pulled along with it, sometimes you push ahead with it, and where you want to go and find that's where you are or where you not want to be. It's almost like this community building is having the community, the young people and everybody explore and discover where they fit in the world.
People noticed that the general citizen, did a lot of linking. And then there was a comment from somebody else, it could have been anyone. And I heard something earlier from Kay talking about, you need that movement of the citizen.
In the beginning, it was someone who was making the choices. One person was making the choice of where to stand. And at the end, they were all kind of working together to come together. It wasn't one person making the decision. They all decided to work together. And it came out beautiful.
I think initially she wasn't aware either. And as just, a general citizen, we're going through our lives and we're concerned with our own needs and our own, what's going on in my world. It's, important that I have to address, and we're not focusing on what's going on around us. But as we become more aware of situations, then we internalize that and we make it important to us, and that allowed her to, bring them together.
The whole thing about exclusion and inclusion is really something we struggle with, because special needs people have always been over there, and the rest of the world is churning.
One thing I observed with Missy was she didn't just take everyone and try to herd them up and then place them. She took like 2 or 3 people at a time and had them hold hands, joined them together, united them, and worked in segments of the sort of community. And then it became united as she figured out where to place them and where everyone belonged. But she made connections before she just, said, okay, this is where you all go. And I think that's important, to make those connections and to unite people.
I was housing and I was trying to make it to where you didn't need me anymore, so I was kind of up there and you were down here, and that's why I didn't want to move.
Right.
I just moved because I was like, she was like, come here, and I was like, no.
Parent role, I just wanted to stay with housing.
You were kind of like taken back, like, why are you telling me where to go? But at the same time, we needed somebody to start us and start us moving, started that opportunity to go, and finding that who am I in that system is difficult for anybody.
I was thinking to myself, where would the legal person be in this structure? And because I'm dealing with the legal aspects of having a child with a disability, and your legal guardian having to go through all the legal documents and the legal paperwork and having all that, having to go through all that. And now I'm actually preparing my will, and I didn't realize I had to take that also into account. Who do you ask to take care of your son if I pass away?
The more actual community where we have caring citizens in mutual relationship with each other, including me and someone with a disability, etc., that's where we become safer. That's where life becomes enriched.